Hey, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here with a movie review for you guys. So for this review, I'll be reviewing a film that'll be celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and that film is Godzilla 2000, which came out in the year 1999. And this was the start of the Millennium era of Godzilla, and after the Millennium run, they pretty much stopped making Godzilla movies for a while until they decided to reboot Godzilla in 2014. So Godzilla 2000, what can I say about this movie? I love this movie. I think it's honestly one of the best Godzilla movies. I mean, it's not every day you come across someone that says, yeah, Godzilla 2000 is my favorite Godzilla movie. It's not every day you hear someone say that, but for me personally, I think it's one of the best Godzilla movies, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, as for the design of Godzilla, I do like the design of Godzilla. He looks very menacing in the movie, and his dorsal plates, his spikes, look a lot more menacing in particular, and I know that he does have the pink spikes in this movie, which I know is a hot topic today in the Godzilla fan base, because Godzilla, once again, has pink spikes in the new upcoming Godzilla X Kong movie, which it's like, who cares? Who cares? You know, I think it looks fine. You know, you gotta change it up somehow. It's better than just getting more of the same every single time. You know, it's cool to get a different Godzilla design every now and then, you know? So it's not a big deal, guys. It's not a big deal whatsoever. But yeah, Godzilla looks cool in Godzilla 2000. So as for the special effects and CGI in this movie, it hasn't really aged too well, to be honest. The CGI is honestly atrocious in this movie. Everything between some of the CGI scenes with whether we're talking about Godzilla himself or it has to do with that spaceship, alien spaceship thing. I mean, there is practical in the movie. I mean, in this film, this was still at a time where they still had a guy in a suit, which is how I prefer Godzilla movies personally. I know there's some people out there that say, oh, CGI is amazing. What will we do without CGI and all this and that? But I don't know. For me anyway, Godzilla has always worked better with a guy in a suit. And I know a lot of others would say the same thing. So there is practical in the movie, but there is still some CGI. But even though there is some bad CGI in the movie, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad film. Mortal Kombat, for example, from 1995, has horrible CGI. In fact, that's a film that I'm sure a lot of people point to as an example of bad CGI, you know. But that is still seen as a classic. It's still seen as a very good movie, and it's still, in my opinion, the best Mortal Kombat film. You know, and it was also at a time when CGI was still brand new, so there's that. So again, just because a film has bad CGI, that doesn't automatically mean that it's a bad movie. But the bad CGI with the alien in particular, it really stands out in a really weird way. So I'm not really a fan of the CGI when it came to that in particular. And as for the story, I mean, it has your similar, you could say, what's the right word I'm looking for? Your like the things that make Godzilla what it is basically what I'm trying to say. Like Godzilla shows up, he's causing destruction. At first, he's seen as a threat, and then Godzilla goes away for a while, and then he comes back to defeat the real threat. And that's what occurs in this movie. He basically comes back to defeat this alien. Of course, when he's using his atomic breath and everything is really cool. So overall, it's just really solid, really enjoyable. It's another fun Godzilla movie. And the human characters, I didn't think were that bad either. And the story with the human characters. Now, I've said this before, but when it comes to human characters in a Godzilla movie, that's something that can be very hit or miss. Sometimes the human characters, their story is interesting. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a throwaway story, or, you know, they just are forgettable characters. But the human characters are actually somewhat interesting in this movie. But obviously, I think I could speak for anyone. When we watch Godzilla movies, we watch them for Godzilla. We watch them for the kaiju battles. So, yeah, this film, it's great. It's a great movie. I mean, if you wanted to say it was a masterpiece, I couldn't argue with that. It's a great movie. Like I said, it's probably one of the best Godzilla movies as well. So let me know what you think of Godzilla 2000 if you've seen it. So if I were to give this movie a score, I would have to give it, honestly, a 9 out of 10. I do think the movie is that great, so let me know what you think of Godzilla 2000. Are you a Godzilla fan? Feel free to let me know. So on that note, thank you for watching. Have a good one.